Did you know that the percentage rate of poverty in Latin America is 10.2%? So, in the article of numbers of Latin Americans in extreme poverty highest in 2008, Gerardo states that the quality of individuals living in extraordinary neediness expanded in 2017 to the most elevated level. Also, in a different article, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, it is said that the proportion of people in extreme poverty is characterized by lack of access to basic human necessities like food and shelter. So it rose to 10.2% of the population, which is according to the article 62 million people, while in the year before it was 9.9%. So many immigrants, all they want is to have a better life, and not only for themselves, but for their mostly for their family. And poverty is one of the main reasons why immigrants choose to come to the United States, because of the better opportunities that they have here, and alongside to violence, inequality, and many others. So numbers are gradually increasing throughout the years. Investigators have found that out of 245,000 deaths, 39,000 are due to area level poverty. People want to escape the poverty that they face daily. For instance, Myra Hernandez, she's a 36-year-old mother from Tegucigalpa, Honduras. She had to fight infection and high fever. She was used to rising at 4 a.m. daily to sell tortillas in her country's capital until she couldn't keep up with extortion payments, and it had become too difficult for her. So she could no longer afford textbooks and school uniform fees. So she said, "I can't raise my daughter in a place like this," and she's completely right. Therefore, we need to stop poverty in Central America, because poverty, it is a result of personal failure, and it causes wealth inequality. Poverty needs to be established so that everyone can have economic opportunity. So today we're going to be talking about the help that Latin Americans need, the opportunities that everyone should be given, and how we can contribute to helping poor immigrant families. As voices of understanding, Latin American nations ought to control and execute social strategies to assist the poor on direction and on their real needs and viabilities. So you can ask yourself, um, who is affected in poverty, and that could be children, lone parents, disabled people, unemployed people, and many more. So the government should help avoid premature labor costs, remove undue barriers to unemployment, instead of building a border wall like our President Trump often discriminates immigrants. Therefore, we need to make sure that we are tackling the right problem. So rising poverty is harmful to our society. It increases health risks, it weakens families, traps individuals, it decreases mobility. Therefore, we should cut poverty, because it costs us billions of dollars annually, while millions of children and adults suffer from poverty, and they face real and economic hardships. So those people who are ordered as amazingly poor need to be organized, and a way that they can be organized is by self-efficiency. So the article "A Way to Reduce Poverty" that's so simple and might just work. It gives us an example of a young girl, Cindy from El Salvador, who started her own business because her neighborhood in El Salvador suffers from widespread poverty. So she started this business by learning from her grandmother, who taught her how to blend and roast cocoa beans into dark chocolate bars. And this small business, Cindy's company, has been successful enough to pay for 4 years of her college education. And today she's growing her company with an ambition to get into new markets. And here we see that achievement is infectious, even in areas with ceaseless neediness. So Cindy's experience impacts relatives, companions, clients, and others, helping them ponder with what could be so conceivable in their lives. And even though Cindy's organization won't take care of the intricate issue of the destitution, her prosperity does have an effect. So the inquiry is, how can we develop her small accomplishment into a tidal wave that can possibly lift wages and lessen destitution? So then that's how we start the process of self-efficiency, and it begins with either mastering the skill yourself or learning it from someone else, like Cindy did with her grandmother, and or it could also be a business mentor or anyone else. So people could have access to new opportunities, and there is nothing so convincing as observing youngsters that begin to put stock in themselves and comprehend their own capacity to change their own conditions. When practicing the negative visualizations, we learn to appreciate the things that we have. For example, immigrants, often the ones that live off of a one-day payday check, they often have to question if there will be enough for tomorrow, if they have to skip a meal for the day just so that their child can eat. And the most frustrating thing is when they are no longer able to provide for their family, and that is when they really have to suffer. So with self-efficiency, anyone can start their own success. They can help future generations. Children can have the education they need. Families will no longer live out of constant fear. And it is just a great, simple start for a simple task. So even though this solution has positive and negative sides, it is only right to try it out because everyone should have the chance to have a happy and full life away from poverty. So informing yourself is probably one of the most straightforward approaches to support the world's poverty. So remember that all anyone wants is to live a better life just like you and I right now. And if you and I can have unnecessary and necessary things, why shouldn't they, right? So no one should be able to have to beg for food and shelter. So let's help Latin Americans have equal wealth equality. So please visit www.help.rescue.org if you would like to donate to these families in need. And you could also call 855-973-7283. And remember that with anything that you would like to donate, it will impact anyone tremendously. Thank you.